What's up guys, I'm Roderick, aka Rodman, and welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, we do retro video gaming content, gameplay videos, and Dragon Ball Z slash anime content over here. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and give the channel a subscribe and check out some of my other videos. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the top 5 most difficult areas in the Mother series. The Mother series is very near and dear to my heart, but there's a lot of difficult areas in this series. So let's get right into the video. So for the number 5 spot on this list, I would definitely be putting Oso Castle from Mother 3. Now, this area, honestly, I believe this is probably the most difficult area in the game. I know you can argue that the attic area in Chapter 4 Mother 3 is more difficult. I don't really think it was the area that was difficult. It was more so the boss in that area that was difficult. But this area, Oso Castle, was very difficult because you have Duster by himself for 90% of the chapter. You get Kumatora and West towards the end, but you're fighting 2 bosses by yourself pretty much. Obviously you're not a PSI user. You do have your thief tools, which are a big help, but one big thing that makes this chapter difficult is that you have no way to heal yourself besides using items, which you can farm different things by using the rotten eclairs, but it's a real hassle. As you can see on the video right now, he has to use the beef jerky to heal, which obviously has limited use. It's very annoying, and overall this area, this chapter is very, very difficult. And this boss right here, Mr. Passion, is honestly one of the hardest bosses in the game. He has a lot of health, he does a lot of damage, he'll attack you for, he'll like send everything except the kitchen sink flying at you, and you're dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. But overall, this area was pretty hard, but definitely not the hardest. So moving on to number 4. So for the number 4 spot, I have the zoo in Mother 1. Now I'll say this right off the rip, Mother 1 is by far the most difficult game in the Mother franchise, by far, and that's because of one thing really. There's no scrolling HP. If you take a look at the health bars in Earthbound and Mother 3, you can obviously tell that they have something called a scrolling HP bar, which means that if you take damage, your health steadily decreases down to 0. What does that allow you to do as the player? That allows you to use healing items, food items, or anything of that nature to stop your HP from decreasing. In Mother 3, in Mother 1, as you can see, there is no scrolling HP. So for example, as you see on the screen, if Ninten has 23 health and I get hit for 30 damage, it's game over and there's nothing I can do about it. Not only that, Ninten's by himself. You don't have any offensive PSI power with Ninten. At this point of the game, you don't have the 4th D slip, which allows you to have a 100% success rate running away from any battle. And there's one enemy that is pretty much boss level that is a random encounter, and that is the elephants. Those things are absolute monsters. At this point of the game, at Ninten, you might have the 45 health, but elephants, they'll charge you and they'll hit you for 40 damage. And like I said before, if you get hit for 40 damage and you have 30 health, it's a game over. The boss in this area was decently difficult as well, the Starman Jr. So that's gonna do it for number 4 spot. Moving on to number 3. For number 3, I have the Duncan's Factory in Mother 1. This is going to be a trend on this list, guys. Mother 1 is ridiculously hard. The thing about the Duncan's Factory that makes it so difficult, A, is like a maze, and B, this place is huge. This might be the biggest area in the entire game. On top of the fact that enemies here, it's like a huge power creep in this game, because you have your second party member, your boy Lloyd. He's a very good party member. And one thing about the Duncan's Factory that is very, very scary is that enemies blow up. Just like they did in Earthbound, just like they do in Mother 3. They blow up and they could possibly do fatal damage to the entire party. And on top of that, a lot of the enemies in Duncan's Factory will use psychic powers, such as PK Beam, as you saw, PK Fire. You getting status elements and stuff like that. Asthma is very, very annoying. On top of the fact that this place is huge and it's a maze, the boss fight. This place is very, very difficult, but not nearly as a pain in the butt as number 1 or number 2. So going right into number 2. So at number 2, I have Peaceful Rest Valley from none other than Earthbound. And this is going to be the only entry of Earthbound on this list, because at this point, if you clicked on the video, 9 times out of 10 you already know what number 1 is. But listen, Peaceful Rest Valley, the first time when you're going through with just Ness, is the most difficult area in the game, because you having robots that are inflicting you with status ailments. You have those trees that blow up. You can't survive those because they're going to do around 400 damage to Ness, and at this point you only have around 100 health, as you can see on the screen. The mobile sprouts, as you can see, they take your psychic points. They're tanky. Is very, very annoying. And Peaceful Rest Valley is kind of a maze. It's very convoluting. But I'll say this: when you're coming back through Peaceful Rest Valley, once you have your second party member of the game, Paula, it is much more easy, obviously, because you're leveling up, and at that point you have gotten your second sanctuary location, and just having an extra body in Paula makes this area much easier. But the first time you travel through Peaceful Rest Valley with just Ness is very difficult. I've died many times on the Let's Play I did on my channel. If you want to check that out, there's a playlist on my channel. But it's very, very annoying. So moving on to number 1, which you guys probably already know what it is. So at the number 1 spot, the most difficult area in the entire Mother series, without a doubt, there's no really way you're gonna argue this. Mount Itoy is not only one of the most difficult areas in the Mother series, it's one of the most difficult areas in gaming. And there's a story behind why this is so difficult. So when the game was about to be released, and they were doing they were pretty much trying to set the difficulty of the area. They were trying to make enemies easier, pretty much. So long story short, the game really needed to be published. It really needed to be released out to consumers. So for the last chunk of the game, Mount Itoy, they threw out any difficulty toning. As you can look right now, they're getting completely obliterated. But so long story short, they really needed to put the game out, so they decided not to tone the difficulty down for Mount Itoy, which is the reason why this area is obscenely difficult. The enemies will one-shot you. They're using PK Freeze Omega. They're hitting everybody in the party for 100+ damage. It's ridiculously difficult until you get Eve, which makes this area a cakewalk pretty much. But just trying to do it yourself, this is by far the most difficult area in Mother, and honestly it probably is within the top 10 most difficult areas in all of gaming. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more retro video gaming content, gameplay videos, and Dokkan and Legends content. Rawman out. Peace.